Revival. That's the word that comes to mind with Spain in 2018. And what a roller coaster it's been in the last decade of Spanish football. 3 major international trophies in a row, a feat that is unlikely to be repeated anytime soon, allowed us to witness greatness in the Spanish national team of the late 2000s, early 2010s. But then tragedy struck in the 2014 World Cup where, after being thrashed 5-1 in a revenge tale by previous finalists, the Netherlands, the Spanish tiki-taka that had graced the world previously had been thwarted, as Spain were unceremoniously figured out and thrown out in an early exit, suffering the same fate as the 2 prior European world champions, Italy and France. 2016 Euros, fast forward to France, and it proved to be smoke and mirrors for this Spanish team, wasn't it? Domination in the group stages, until slipping up in the final match against Croatia proved to be somewhat of a bad omen for Spain. And then, lo and behold, in the round of 16, the reigning European champions would relinquish another title that they had coveted. Oh, how there were talks of the Spanish style of play, the tiki-taka that had taken the world by storm, how it had flatlined, and questions loomed over how long exactly it would have taken Spain to rebuild. Yet with the departure of legendary manager Vicente del Bosque came a fresh new outlook and a fresher face for the Spanish national team in the form of Julen Lopetegui. Now then, tiki-taka never left. It's still there. We still see the same high-pressing, tight passes in those narrow spaces that Spain are famous for. But it has evolved. And these players have managed to shift the puzzle into another conundrum that manages to mind-boggle all opponents that comes in its way, as demonstrated in 2018 World Cup qualifying, when Spain, being the pure class side that they are and have always been, seized Group G of UEFA qualifying with an iron clasp, only dropping points in 1 game away from home in Italy. If there is indeed a formula for stopping Tiki-Taka 2.0, certainly no other team has figured it out yet, as Lopetegui's side are undefeated and the manager currently holds a 72% win rate, with 13 wins and 5 draws from 18 games. And the 6-1 versus Argentina, in particular, really speaks for itself. And despite his age, it is midfielder, 34-year-old Andres Iniesta, who still pulls primarily most of the strings and provides the blueprint for Spain's aggressive attacking style. Whatever happens this summer with the Spanish team, whether they will put the ghosts of 2014 and 2016 behind them, and we'll see them in the same vein as how they were from 2008 to 2012, is something that we just don't know yet. Regardless, it will be the end of an era, because it will likely be Andres Iniesta's last tournament before he heads over to Japanese club Vissel Kobe in the J-League. Going back to the team as a whole, you can really see where the quality of this side comes from, as many players play domestically in La Liga, one of the best club leagues in the world, for sides like Valencia, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Celta Vigo, Real Sociedad, to name just a few. And while Spain really cemented their fame with their controversial false 9 formation, a system that has been on the receiving end of both praise and derision from critics alike, Lopetegui's men have lately been experimenting with going with an out-and-out striker for an impending tournament this summer, and that man will likely be Diego Costa. Many Spanish fans that I've spoken to have a sort of a medley of different sentiment on Diego Costa himself. Some feel that he's not a right fit for the Spanish forward position, while others feel that he needs more time. And even though he's been with the Spanish national team since the 2014 World Cup, he has only netted 7 goals for La Furia Roja. But because of the stifling presence of this Spanish midfield, it's possible that Spain perhaps doesn't need an out-and-out striker, which really speaks to how world-class they are. All in all, sometimes they say it requires a fall from grace to get yourself back up on your feet. And in recent years, this Spanish team has the look of a side that have a glint in their eye. They appear to have their hunger back, and they want to retake the throne. Whatever happens this summer, it is completely foolhardy to deny that Spain's revitalization is a triumph in and of itself. And if they were to cap a comeback to going all the way and lifting the trophy in July 15th in Moscow, how crazy would that be, considering they were staring into the abyss of the bottomless pit less than 4 years ago? And even though I am not a gambling man, for Football Pharaoh's money, I reckon they can get to the final. And on current form at least, I consider them the team to beat from the European continent. Whether this will be a full-blown resurrection story or not, the Spanish national team, if they keep this up, will remain a force for many years to come, and will surely become regular contenders to win major international tournaments, something that prior to 2008 was something that always habitually plagued Spain as underachievers in world football. And since they shed that once in 2010, that burden, that albatross around their neck, that's gone forever. Hell hath no fury like a dynasty scorned.